Hey gang, how are you doing? So, feeling very inspired at the moment. I've just been watching for the last 2 days Bob Proctor's Science of Getting Rich seminar, virtual seminar, which he was streaming live from his studio, and then zooming into where Sandy Gallagher was, where his son Brian was, and various other people in his team. So it was really a great effort, and it's still going on, and it's going on tomorrow. So I'll be watching that and watching the replays. But it was great to be reminded of some of these fundamental universal laws, like the law of polarity, the law of cause and effect, all these great fundamental laws, which when you actually think about it, they just make so much sense. They'd really come under the guise of common sense. And I'm thinking while I'm watching him, I mean, I've heard this stuff so many times. I did the Science of Getting Rich Facilitator program with Bob for a week back in, I think it was probably 2000 or 2001. And then he came back, and he came back again, spent more time with him. And I actually hired Bob to speak to my sales people in, I think it was about 2006, something like that. And the effect was amazing. I can't tell you. Because we already had them consuming his material. I always had my people listening to Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy. And for those people who say personal development doesn't work, they're crazy. They are the most negative, ignorant, linear, narrow-minded people you could imagine, because it does work. I can tell you in my life, if I adopt a pattern of not drinking in the week and doing loads of exercise on a regular basis and doing little and often listening and reading to positive stuff, personal development stuff, spiritual stuff, things just get better. And I can't exactly tell you why, but things just get better. I start to attract the people, the environment, the circumstances that are in harmony with whatever it is that I'm looking at doing or trying to achieve at that time. And you know what? I've got a Sky Dish at home in England, and there's a box behind the telly, and there's the telly itself. And I know that there's a satellite somewhere out of the Earth's atmosphere. And you know what? That's all I need to know. I don't need to know the ins and outs of how it works. It just works. And being positive, doing some exercise, looking after yourself, and keeping away from mainstream news and talking to people who are also the same as you, PLUs, people like us, yeah? People who don't get involved in the petty gossip, people who don't spread all the negative stuff on. There was an idiot on Facebook the other day. He posts, "Could this be financial Armageddon?" And the lower conscious part of me wanted, that's the old Steve, by the way, wanted to put a message or a comment on saying, "You bleeping idiot," yeah? I didn't, yeah? I said to him, "That's a very irresponsible, very crazy, very stupid thing to say. What do you think the effect of that is having on a lot of people who read that? That's going into their psyche. They're worried. They're, crap scared already." And you say things like that in big, bold letters. I mean, why would anybody with half a brain say something like that and then try and infect other people's minds? Wow, just absolutely crazy. So what we got to do is keep ourselves very, very positive and focus on all the good things that can come out of any situation, yeah? And the things that I'm focused on right now is helping people who are looking for a secondary source of income, people who are maybe looking to replace an income which is no longer there. And it was very interesting what Jordan Belfort said recently. He said perhaps this situation has actually just sort of, I'm paraphrasing him here, obviously. He said, perhaps this situation has just maybe expedited the death of a lot of jobs and a lot of businesses. And kind of what that means is it's probably cut away the fat from commercial society. It's, there was maybe many business models, maybe many jobs which were kind of obsolete or verging towards obsolescence, and they would have been gone anyway in 2 or 3 years. I mean, very much like, I'm not a medical expert and I'm not making any claims or making any comment one way or the other, but a lot of stuff that you hear is that most people or most fatalities from this recent virus have been people who were in a bad state of health. I know there's obviously exceptions to that, but people who are in a bad state of health or may have passed on, in the next year or two. So if you take that and parallel it to the world of commerce and say, well, businesses and jobs which were kind of obsolete, kind of surplus to requirements, but they were just hanging on by the skin of their teeth, it's kind of hurried the process up for them. And that's what we call a wake-up call, but it's also called an opportunity as well. It's an opportunity to expand our consciousness and to say, what now? What next? What can we get involved in? And I think there's a load of people who are going to be really happy with the realization that they've been forced into these situations and they've got to think, but out of that thinking process will come something really, really wonderful. And more people anyway, that I could sort of see, are starting to work from home. They're starting to work remotely. Yeah, who wants to spend an hour traveling to work every day and then an hour traveling back every day? I've done that. I've worked in the city. I've done the whole Liverpool Street, King's Cross thing. It's a nightmare. It's not exciting at all. It's a dirty, filthy, stinking nightmare, and you are wasting your time when you're doing stuff like that. And not only are you wasting your time, you're wasting your time amidst a bunch of people that you just do not want to be with. Yeah. So working from home, being able to reach out to the world on the internet, via your computer, via your phone, and get trade going and get cash flow going backward and forward is a wonderful thing to be able to do. And I just think more and more people are going to be looking at home-based businesses. I was doing some videos a few years ago talking about, kitchen table entrepreneurs. There's an army of women out there who are absolute legends, and they're big earners, and they do it all from the kitchen table. They don't go out too much for business. They do it all from the kitchen table. They do it on Zoom calls. They do leadership calls. They do sales calls. They do mentoring calls. They do coaching calls. And they do it all for, the coffee jug's never more than that far away. And they're in the comfort of their home, yeah? They're not having to go out. They can look after the kids without having them to be having them looked after by nannies all the time. And it's just a great way to be. And I think it's actually returning us to a way that we really should be. We should be at home. We should be home is where the heart is, right? And we should be there with our families, and we should be able to sort of provide a great living and a great lifestyle for our families, which so many of these home-based opportunities do. I mean, I'll tell you something. I think what's going to really take a hammer in is commercial property. Somebody I know working in a call center, making appointments, 40 people there. They got all sent home with laptops and logged in CRM, so they've got to be in on time, else it's where are you? Lunch breaks still the same, and everything comes in the CRM. They're on the internet talking to people over the VoIP system, and they're smashing it. And within 2 or 3 days, the company that is paying probably, 10, 15, 20 grand for the officers, emails them all and says, congratulations, you're doing absolutely fantastic, guys. We're going to reevaluate the office situation in light of this, because this is now they would never ever have dreamt of actually having those people work from home. You know, if you'd have been maybe working for those people and say, oh, look, I don't feel like coming in today, but can I work from home? It'd be like, no, get your ass in here. You know, you've got to be in the office. But they've totally re-evaluated. There's been a paradigm shift, yeah? And now they're probably going to dump 10 or 15 grand a month's worth of rent. That's going to be an empty office building. They're going to be a leaner, fitter, healthier business. Their employees are going to be able to work in their pajamas, but you know, everything is still monitored, and they've still got a sales manager online who can listen into their calls. Everything's the same, apart from having to go out and spend an hour or so, or 30 minutes, or whatever it is, getting to the office, getting back from the office, and all that. It's so much easier. It makes so much more sense. So if anybody out there is kind of in a quandary thinking, what do I do for a secondary income? What do I do to replace an income which has been taken away because of recent events, recent circumstances? Please do reach out and let me know your comments. Let me know what's going through your mind, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, about all this, because I'm really, really interested. And there's no pitch coming, by the way, for something. Yeah, this is just totally Steve Q video, but I'm interested to see what people think, feel, and their opinions on this current situation. So thanks for watching, and I'm Steve Q, and I'll see you on the next one, and all the very best. I mean that. Bye bye.